Hi, everybody. This is Jenny Weigel from the National Renewable Energy Laboratory with the rest of our organizing team here. We also have Amber Frumkin on the line from the Department of Energy as well, who is our DOE representative. And we'll just be giving you guys a little bit of an overview of the upcoming Collegiate Wind Competition 2021, just to get you prepared for the upcoming RFP process. So I'll hand it over to Amber for just a minute so she can give us a little bit of an introduction here. Amber?
Thanks, Jenny. As Jenny said, I'm Amber Frumkin, the Collegiate Wind Competition Manager at the Department of Energy, and we're very excited that you were able to hop on the webinar today to learn a little bit more about the competition. The competition has been up and running since 2014, and I might be a little biased, but I think we're, really getting the universities to get excited about this and really want to participate. And I know that we get a lot of feedback from students who mention that this is one of the highlights of their college careers. So just wanted to thank you all for joining and to make sure if your questions aren't answered on this webinar to make sure and reach out. And if something comes up after the call and you're still curious about some things, please reach out to us with any questions because we're always happy to answer them. And so I'm going to hand it back to Jenny. And again, thanks for joining and look forward to hearing from you all soon.
Thanks so much, Amber. So just to give you guys a little bit of an overview of what we'll be covering today, we'll give you some background on the Collegiate Wind Competition more generally, an overview of what the contests look like and kind of what the expectations are for the teams and what you can expect from the organizers, some details on what the tunnels are and the exciting parts of the competition that are coming up, some of the timelines that you can expect if you haven't previously participated, and then some information on what a strong application might look like so that you guys can more effectively prepare for the open RFP right now. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar here, there is a questions box that is in the bottom of your panel. So if you just want to type those in, we'll be able to answer those questions at the end of the webinar. And if we aren't able to address something that you guys are curious about, as Amber mentioned, we'll follow up, and we'll also distribute both a recording of this and a copy of the presentation that includes some of these live links that can take you to the RFP and to some additional information that you can find on the rules and on the CWC website. Okay, so then just as a little bit of an overview of the competition here, this is unlike any other undergraduate competition that is out there right now. So our aim, as Amber had mentioned, is really to give students some hands-on experience that they can really start to get something that'll get them prepared for a career in wind energy. We're trying to create teams that are interdisciplinary, so get some ideas from students who have a little bit of a different background from just engineering, so we can come up with some creative ideas that you'll be faced with some problems that you wouldn't normally have experienced in just the classroom. So the idea is that you'll be pushed out there and trying to think about things in a different way. And we're trying to get that hands-on learning experience that you wouldn't normally get in the classroom, and then create that experience that a lot of the hiring managers are looking for. You can find on our website some real examples of students who have, completed this program and then gone into wind energy and gotten the jobs that they have received from the experience that they got from participating in this competition. So there's a clear line from the experience that you get here and what hiring managers are seeking. And you'll also have the opportunity to interact directly with industry and then serve as mentors for younger students as well. So you can share that learning that you develop onto the next generation and then hopefully bring in a lot more people into wind energy and meet the needs that wind energy has for new entrants into the industry. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Heidi, who can give us a little bit of information on what the workforce needs are in wind.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So as Jenny alluded to, this CWC is aimed at providing hands-on opportunity to develop the skills for wind energy workforce of the future. And the reason we've developed this program is because there are huge needs looking into the future. We talk a lot about various initiatives nationally, internationally for renewable energy and wind energy, and there is tremendous opportunity. everywhere from technicians through engineers, scientists, researchers, academia. There's project managers, business folks, really across the entire spectrum. Every single function you can think of are needed in the wind industry. And it used to be that this is sort of an alternative industry, and that is certainly not the case anymore. There's a lot of companies that have open branches from Europe in the United States, as well as a lot of local organizations. You can earn great high-paying salaries while working on something that can make you feel like you're doing something to contribute to the sort of sustainability of our world. And many of these careers actually just require bachelor's degrees. But there's sort of a gap between, just needing bachelor's degrees, but wanting people with experience. And part of that's because the industry is growing so rapidly. So we just keep needing more people who have some experience with wind energy. And so we've got this program to help grow undergraduate programs through providing access to technical resources at the lab and professional software programs. So every year we survey the teams and have a lot of dialogue with teams and participants about what it was like to participate in the Collegiate Wind Competition. And we've pulled just a very small sampling here of feedback that we've gotten over the years, which is really exciting to hear from each of the participants and to share here with you. I mean, I love the third one. Opportunities like CWC have allowed many of us to land our dream jobs. I've been running the project development contest for the last couple of years, and I've had the firsthand experience of watching students be handed business cards from professionals in the industry looking to hire students who are walking off the presentation floor. So it's really stinking cool. And it's really unique. I was in an undergraduate engineering program myself, and you just don't get the experience of hands-on opportunities like this where you really get to apply the learning that you did in your book work and actually see it come to life and really do the field engineering at competition. So it's really exciting. These students get to work on multidisciplinary programs, which is also very unique in most engineering programs, and just get to figure out what it means to work on a team, which is one of the most valuable things that a lot of us in the industry feel that contributes to our success as we go through our careers. And so we started in 2014, as we mentioned, and throughout time it's traded between this larger event and a more technically focused competition. We've had a 2-year contract each time. This round is the first time we're going to go to a 1-year annual challenge. So that's really exciting for us as organizers. There's been a different focus every year as we've gone through time. So it's with the basically what you're optimizing the turbine for and what the market will look like, and then working on developing different programs as we go through to really fine-tune the contests so that they are most applicable to real-world experiences and connect students with skills that they can directly take into an interview, put on their resumes and say, I've done this, what you've done in industry, and I have these experiences and I understand this. So anywhere from starting with developing a lightweight transportable wind turbine to power small electronic devices like powering cell phone charging stations, to a couple of years ago we introduced yaw into the system and piloted a sighting contest, which has now become a permanent element of this program going forward. And that's been really neat. I think keeps it new every year. Although we have new students coming in every year, we also want to see just again how to keep it relevant in the industry and really explore the multifaceted nature of the industry. So a little bit more about the specifics of the contests themselves. There are two primary contests for 2021. There will be a turbine prototype contest and then a project development contest. So the turbine prototype contest is all around designing, building, and then testing a small turbine that then gets tested in our wind tunnels. So with the turbine design, the ultimate deliverables will be a design report describing the design process, and some of the testing activities that were done prior to competition. And then arriving at competition, the students have the opportunity to stand before a panel of judges and get questions about the design itself and the process that the students went through. And then in the turbine testing portion, you'll go through a series of tests, which we'll talk about in just a few more minutes when we look at the tunnels themselves. But each student team will come and test in the tunnel, and kind of mimics a lot of what is actually done in industry when you do power performance testing and type certification of utility turbines. And then in the project development contest, the students will actually develop a 100 megawatt theoretical wind farm. And then, so looking at the technical elements of that, what the wind resource is, what the terrain looks like, what kind of obstacles there are, what kind of land ownership is in a region, and then as well as looking at the financial analysis of the project. So looking at the cost of energy and the full analysis of the financial sort of performance of the project for the 20-year life of the project. And then similar to the turbine prototype contest, the students will present in front of a panel of industry judges and get to have a Q&A. And really, with both of the contests, it's not just judges learning what the students did, but also the students having some time with professionals to deepen their understanding and their exploration of these technologies that they began throughout the year. And some additional recommended opportunities we have are to engage with industry, whether that's through the project development contest or through various opportunities that we will provide during wind power. And then community involvement and outreach. One of the coolest projects out there for young students is the Kid Win Challenges. So there's a neat opportunity for collegiate students to organize events for middle and high school students to design and build small turbines and then test them in very small tunnels as well. And then also bringing the experience and the project to the university and really sharing and promoting what's happening there and engaging others in the conversation about what's happening in the wind industry and what, the experience of hands-on design. So for the turbine design contest, we've got 3 wind tunnels. You can see in the picture the original wind turbines that were built for the first competition in 2014 are in the back, and we have 2 of those ones. And then 2 years ago, we built a brand new tunnel, which you can see in the front, which is twice as large and twice as fast, and has a lot of opportunity to continue to the technical evolution of our contest. And so, as I mentioned, we sort of simulate these power performance tests in the utility industry. So you get to do things like cut in wind speed, see how quickly the turbine will start generating power, running through a power curve, getting up to rated power, and then figuring out how to control the turbine and making sure the power stays steady once you've hit rated. And then a durability test, which really runs the turbines through a whole parametric series that is modeled off of wind speeds and ranges that you'll see in the real world, and then safety disconnects. And all this is detailed in the rules and requirements. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Heidi. So to give a little bit of background on just some of the past competitions that we've done, here's some photos from what this has looked like when we have held the competition at the OWEA Clean Power event, and what it looks like when we've held it at the NREL Flatirons campus. We are still determining whether this upcoming event in 2021 will be held at the Flatirons campus or it will be held at Clean Power. But from each of these experiences, all of the students get the opportunity to engage directly with industry and to really see what this would look like, for a future career for themselves. So this will be held either in May or June in the upcoming year. So the commitment that you can expect from the organizing team is to really host a fair and unbiased competition with experts connecting you to the wind energy industry. We provide $20,000 in seed funding to the selected universities that will be participating to help them get started and to cover their travel and their attendance to either the conference or to get themselves to the Flatirons campus. And then we're also providing additional wind energy educational opportunities. So throughout the course of the year, when students are preparing their projects, we will give some educational background on, what this should look like, understanding basics of wind energy, and that does also come from, the academic background themselves. But we will provide, some of the things that would be the most helpful for students to get them started. We've also created an alumni group that's on LinkedIn, where students will be able to communicate with each other and communicate with industry to hopefully help get them started on their career after they've successfully completed the involvement in the Collegiate Wind Competition. And as I said, you'll have the opportunity to engage with wind industry professionals and act as a mentor for K-12 students who are, interested in learning more about it, and hopefully get them interested in becoming a professional in wind energy and more generally. And then from the teams, we do expect that you will participate, in a professional and a collegial level. You will bring the education that we're providing you into the classroom and hopefully teach it to other people, teach it to other students, and teach it to the younger generation. We also expect that you will further the seed funding through your own fundraising to make sure that you'll be able to cover any of the costs that are associated with it. The $20,000 is intended to get everyone started, but there will be additional costs that you may incur over the course of the competition that we'll expect you to cover on your own. Then our aim here, I'm personally in communications, so I'm always trying to spread the CWC message throughout, whether it be your local community, through national competitions that you can engage in that are outside of CWC, and then take advantage of some of the educational opportunities that we've provided for you, and make sure that you can really take full advantage of what CWC can be on your end. So here's a little bit of a timeline, just a very general overview of what this will look like for you guys who are actually putting together applications. So this fall, as of right now, we currently have the RFP out, and this is due December 9th. So we expect that you'll be working on this right now, starting to put together some teams, putting together a strong application, and submit this through the RFP process by December 9th. If you do have questions, we'll cover this at the end, but you'll be able to reach out to us. Then following our selection of the teams, which will happen over the course of winter 2019 and then early in 2020, we'll be announcing and notifying all of the awardees in the early spring. And then in spring of 2020, teams will be expected to start recruiting and building out their teams, building out a plan for the competition year, and then starting to secure those additional funding sources and any additional mentors who can provide that educational background that might help you be more successful. Then we'll actually start the product development in fall of 2020 and then into the spring of 2021. And then there will be deadlines that will come out once the official rules document is released for 2021. But as of right now, it's just between fall of 2020 and spring of 2021. And then in May or June, depending on if we're holding it at the Flatirons campus or at OWEA Clean Power, we will be hosting the in-person competition that you will all be participating in. So throughout the course of the competition, we will have additional contests that you can also review what this looks like right now in the 2020 rules. We'll expect that you start developing it throughout the course of the year. You will support additional outside students who might be interested in this, do your own local outreach and fundraising, and then participate in our all-team calls that we hold throughout the year to make sure that students are, on track to complete all of their deliverables on time. Then for the 3-day live event that we'll have in person, there will be a team check-in and registration, technical inspections that will all happen in the first day, and then we'll do a kickoff meeting to make sure everyone's on the same page. We'll also offer some tunnel testing practice throughout the course of the competition, and then do the official tunnel testing in the final days, and do presentations for the sighting contest and for the turbine design contest. And then we'll hold the award ceremony right at the end for the selected teams that win. Here's a little bit of an overview of the criteria for the selected teams. This is also available in much greater detail on the RFP that's available on FedBiz Ops. And when I send around the full presentation, you'll be able to get a link to the RFP and all of this additional information. So the breakdown for the criteria is educational, objective, and academic integration. That'll be worth 25% of your score. Organization and project planning, also worth 25%. Team configuration and inclusivity will be worth 15%. Budget management and institutional support for 20%, and communication and outreach efforts for 15%. I'll also provide this link to an article that we just posted last month that provides you some tips on how you can put together a strong application as well. So that kind of wraps up our presentation here. So if you guys have any additional questions on what we would be looking for from our applicants, or some of the things that you need to know going into the competition, or about the competition more generally, feel free to type it in the question box that's available in your panel. Otherwise, you can send us a direct email, and we'll get back to you as soon as we have an answer. I saw someone just raise a hand, but if you could type your question in, that would be a huge help to us. All right, so if the competition is to be held at AWEA, do teams need to purchase registration for the students? And the answer to that is yes, and that's generally what the $20,000 seed funding is intended for.
However, we do work with AWEA directly to get reduced registration fees.
All right, and then we have another question here. If a team is willing to self-fund and not take any DOE funding, is there a way that they can still participate?
No, there isn't a way to participate without being selected.
We are looking into this as an option, though, so we will get back to you if this does change. Is there any focus on including a 2-year school in our proposal?
This for CWC 20, there is one school that is partnering with a community college, which we strongly encourage.
Will you be posting the PowerPoint slides? And yes, I'll be sending around a copy of all of the PowerPoint slides, and then we'll also be posting a recording of the webinar on the YouTube channel that I'll share as well.
I don't know what that is.
Our application is limited to U.S. citizens and permanent residents. What about the students? Can they be international students that participate?
Applications are limited to U.S. institutions. The students do not need to be U.S. citizens. There was a question on how many teams generally apply, and we're not in a position to answer that question right now.
So if we also received a question on existing students that are interested in participating, but they are graduating in spring of 2020. Do I need to put together a new team?
Yes, they need to be undergraduate students at your institution to participate. So yes, but you could retain some of the current students to serve as advisors. You can do that at your discretion.
Can we use SOFA and FAST in the project development contest?
We have no restrictions on the tools that you can access, especially those that are open source like SOFA and FAST.
Do you ever get winning applications from a single professor?
From my read of this question, it sounds like from one single professor that doesn't have support from their institution or ideas on how to build that team. Winning applications often, actually always, have involvement in multiple areas across their institution and support from their administration.
Okay, well, it looks like that might be all of the questions that have come in here. So if there's anything that wasn't addressed or any additional questions that you guys have that maybe we weren't able to answer today, just send us an email and there will be links available for how to get in touch with us when I send around a copy of the presentation as well. So we hope to see some applications from the group that's participated in the webinar today. And if there's anything else that we can do to help, we look forward to working with you. So from the NREL organizing team and from DOE, thank you all for taking the time to join in.